Syrian pro-government forces have entered the northern city of Manbij for the first time in 6 years. An army spokesman has said the Kurdish militia that controlled the area asked for help from the government amid fears that Turkish troops would launch a new offensive. Turkey considers the Kurdish forces to be part of a terrorist group. The request by the United States-backed Kurds follows the shock announcement that all United States troops are to withdraw from Syria. President Donald Trump announced the pullout of some 2,000 troops last week, asserting that the Islamic State group had been defeated. But that claim has been disputed by important allies, who say the move could lead to a resurgence of IS. By Martin Patience, Middle East correspondent, BBC News. The consequences of President Trump's surprise announcement to withdraw all United States troops from Syria are now being seen on the ground. Manbij is a strategically important town in northern Syria that until today was under the control of United States-backed Kurdish forces. The Kurds who led the fight against it see Mr. Trump's decision as a betrayal. Without the support of the Americans, Kurdish leaders are now being forced to choose what they regard as the least bad option. They will be hoping that the presence of the Syrian government army, which is backed by Russia and Iran, will deter Turkey from launching an attack. Turkey has been intensifying its military activity in air positions held by Kurdish fighters since President Trump's withdrawal announcement on 19 December. United States soldiers have been working closely with Kurdish forces, who form part of an alliance, the Syrian Democratic Forces, SDF, in the battle against IS. But this policy has infuriated Turkey, which is battling the militia in the nearby city of Afrin. It also says it is frustrated over what it sees as delays to a deal agreed with the United States to clear Manbij of Kurdish fighters. The deal over the city, which lies to the west of the Euphrates River, was agreed in February in a bid to stabilize the region. The United States also have soldiers in Manbij, which was taken from IS by forces led by the Kurdish IK. In 2016, tensions in the region have risen in recent weeks, and Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has threatened to launch a new offensive against the Kurds. Turkey has launched two previous offensives against the Kurds in Syria since 2016. Mr. Erdogan wants to prevent the Kurds from consolidating their hold on Syrian territory and forming an autonomous region on Turkey's border. Turkey considers the militia to be an extension of the banned Kurdistan Workers' Party, PKK, which has fought for Kurdish autonomy in southeastern Turkey for 3 decades. The United States military says it has killed 62 fighters from the Islamist group Al-Shabaab in 6 airstrikes in Somalia. 4 airstrikes on Saturday killed 32 militants, and a further 2 on Sunday killed 28. It said in a statement, "These were the deadliest air attacks in Somalia since November 2017, when the United States said it had killed 100 militants." Somalia has seen a sharp increase in the number of airstrikes and casualties since President Donald Trump took office in the United States in January 2017. A tally by the Bureau of Investigative Journalism reveals that at least 400 people have been killed in airstrikes since the beginning of 2017, far more than the previous 10 years combined. The latest strikes bring to at least 40 the number carried out in Somalia so far this year, compared with 35 recorded in 2017. The United States has a huge military base in neighboring Djibouti, from where it launches attacks on the militants. Mr. Trump gave the United States military greater authority in March 2017 to attack militants in Somalia. Traditionally, United States presidents have been wary of intervening in Somalia since ATN Special Forces soldiers died fighting militias in the capital Mogadishu in 1993, a battle dramatized in the film Black Hawk Down. No civilians were killed in the latest airstrikes, which were carried out in coordination with the Somali government, the United States military said. Alongside our Somali and international partners, we are committed to preventing Al-Shabaab from taking advantage of safe havens from which they can build capacity and attack the people of Somalia, the United States Africa Command said. Al-Shabaab, which is linked to Al-Qaeda, has not yet commented on the latest strikes. Somalia-based security think tank the Higher Institute said in a report published in November that Al-Shabaab had been forced to change tactics following the upsurge in airstrikes. The institute said the group was now conducting fewer mass attacks on military bases, but attacks on government offices and businesses which refused to pay its taxes had increased markedly. The United States State Department, in its most recent report on terrorism, described Somalia as a terrorist safe haven, and said Al-Shabaab remained a threat. Despite suffering setbacks, the group retained control over large parts of the country, and the ability to carry out high-profile attacks using suicide bombers, explosive devices, mortars, and small arms. The report added, 2 Scandinavian women tourists have been found dead in Morocco, with cords to their necks, the country's interior ministry said. Both bodies were found near the town of Imleo in the High Atlas mountain range, near the foot of North Africa's highest peak, Mount Tepco. The women, from Denmark and Norway respectively, have not yet been named. A police investigation has been launched into their deaths, the Interior Ministry statement said. A popular tourist attraction has become the latest Chinese company to show solidarity with Huawei's chief finance officer, Meng Wanzhou, who was arrested in Canada on 1 December. Shannon Mountain Scenic Park, in eastern Hainan province said it would waive the $9.65 ticket fee for anyone carrying a Huawei phone. Ms. Mann, who was given bail in Canada, faces extradition to the United States on charges of breaking Iran sanctions. Her case has upped tensions with China. Use Huawei phones. Shoot grand photos on the mountain. A notice on the Shannon Park's social media account said, "We wish friends around the world who support Huawei's success and bliss." The offer would last until 29 December, the South China Morning Post reported. But it was met with some criticism among China's social media users, who claimed it was discriminatory. Huawei phone owners are being offered other enticements too. They can get a 20% discount at a bar in Beijing. Seen in Beijing, bring a Huawei phone and get 20% off. Similar to this story we covered yesterday, https://QXL19YPQLPIC. Twitter.com Sokolov. End of Twitter post by @LuOceanG. At least one firm has threatened to penalize anyone buying Apple products. A few days ago, Manbij, the Shenzhen-based LED and display manufacturer, offered subsidies to any employees buying Huawei phones. It also pledged to fine anyone who bought an Apple iPhone. United States prosecutors alleged Ms. Mann, 46, used a Huawei subsidiary called Skycom to evade sanctions on Iran between 2009 and 2014. They also alleged she publicly misrepresented Skycom as being a separate company from Huawei, and that she deceived banks about the true relationship between the two companies. Miss Mann, who is the daughter of Huawei's founder, has denied any wrongdoing and said she will contest the allegations. Life of Huawei's high-flying heiress.